And we're live, man.
We are live. What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining us. For some of you, early in the morning, if you're way overseas, those on the East Coast later on a Friday afternoon. And a special thanks to our two guests. We're going to introduce them in a second. I'll turn it over to AJ. But everyone, today is going to be a really exciting day. We have two very specific topics that you can ask all of your questions to people that have been in the trenches for years in their two categories. And I just think it's awesome because a lot so far we talked about things like power and purpose and passion and talking about getting your target market right, talking about social media, blogging and things. And today we're going to talk about internet marketing as a whole and also about TV and media. So you're going to learn how to profit from publicity. You're going to learn tips for getting on TV. You're going to learn how to leverage online marketing from someone that's been in the game longer than probably most people out there. I mean, since the beginning. Keys to integrating TV and online marketing. So we'll bring the two concepts together at the end. And obviously, this is all about the live Q&A. So we're going to do a little bit of training, but a lot of this is about the live Q&A. So make sure just pop in all of your questions. AJ and I will be manning the chat, and we'll make sure we get to as many of them as possible. So without further ado, let me turn it over to my man AJ Amex to introduce our phenomenal guest.
Yo, dude, so I'm excited. So for you guys, you probably saw Starley Murray on day 10 talking about how to profit from publicity. And so if you guys have not seen Starley, go back, watch day 10. If you haven't picked up the All Access Season Pass, go pick it up and go. That way you can go back, watch her information. It's going to be there for forever, right, for you, and it's going to serve you. And if you don't know who she is, she does crazy consulting for lots of different celebrities from different red carpet events, and then teaching them how to figure out their brand. Okay, now she's been on television in the news every month for the past 13 years, and she's a very successful image brand coach. So, Starley, welcome to today.
Hey, great to be here, AJ. Thanks, Andy, so much.
You bet. And then the other person that we have with us that you guys have not seen, and I'm excited to bring his name on, is Tom Antion. I'm excited to bring him today. And I'm going to tell you, I've been trying to get this guy to be a part of this summit because I love the way that he has talked about the concepts of internet marketing. Because so many times we get caught up in making sure that our website's going to be pretty and our brand is perfect and we have the greatest logo. And Tom's one of these guys who will just come give it to you completely real, completely raw, and say, no, this is what needs to be done to actually get results. Okay? So, Tom, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, AJ, glad I could finally get together with you, buddy.
Yeah, so let's do this. I have a few questions for the idea of publicity, the idea of internet marketing, and I'll address this one to you, Tom, first, because I know Starley's really helped you figure out how to put your pitch together, and you have this show that you put together. So first of all, tell us a little bit about this show, and then how did Starley help you so you could pitch that to ultimately get that in the works?
Well, I've been in the game a long time, and I see a lot of fraudulent activity in the internet marketing arena, the professional speaking arena, and I wrote an article called "The Top 20 Seminar Scams," and then people from all over the world started sending me what happened to them at a seminar. So I thought, God, I can't go after all these people, so I thought up a concept for a TV show called Seminar Scammers, took it to Hollywood, and they thought, you know what, it's too narrow of a niche. Come back with something more broad. So I came back with a show called Scam Brigade. That's scambrigade.com. You can see the trailer for it. But I had to rebrand myself as a consumer advocate, and that's where Starley came in, because I needed to start doing media with people seeing me not as Mr. Internet Marketing Guru, but as somebody that's going to stand up for the person that's getting robbed. And so that's how we connected with this. And I was already considered a hot TV interview before I met Starley, and then she just banged me around with her in the head a little bit and took me to a next level. And that's how the collaboration got started. It rebranded me as a consumer advocate.
Awesome. Before I hop over to Starley to figure out what you guys did to make this happen, there's an interesting little piece of conversation here, which is you had done internet marketing for a really long time, and then you had to pivot to create this new brand. And I think for the people who are listening today, they all go through this because a lot of them have personal brands and they have new ideas and they can shift and pivot. I mean, welcome to the game as an entrepreneur. But how did you make that pivot, Tom, from being seen as like the internet marketing guy and helping lots and lots of people do really well online to shifting your brand and your stance in the marketplace and make it believable to be this new consumer advocacy person?
Well, first of all, I keep the business of helping people is still in full swing, so I'm still doing that. But I did several things. I started doing TV interviews. I started doing radio interviews. I started having materials generated about me being a consumer advocate, and then I presented this as a package. I even mocked up potential bus, like a big bus where I'm on the side of it, and it's the Scam Brigade tour where I'm going around doing speeches to help people learn about the scam so they don't get robbed. And so it wasn't just one thing, it was a conglomerate of things. I did webinars on how you get robbed and what happens. I was on, when Donald Trump got sued by the Attorney General of New York, I do a thing called newsjacking. This is good for your listeners to know about, where if you're going to bother to blog all the time, you should blog about things in the news regularly because you have a better chance of getting a spike and a high ranking when it's already trending. So I was known for seminar scams. I had, like, I don't know, 4 million views of my videos, and when Donald Trump got sued by the Attorney General of New York for $40 million for Trump University being fraudulent, well, I newsjacked it. I jumped right on it, and CNN talked to me 3 times the next day. You know, wow. So it's newsjacking, television appearances, radio appearances, and making your. I even had a business card. Just I haven't had a business card for 15 years, more than 15 years, and I made one up to say, hey, consumer advocate. You know, so it's a combination of things that you do, and then online. Also, there's a bunch of stuff online showing me as a consumer advocate. So you have to have a multi-pronged approach. You can't just do one thing and say, okay, now I'm a different person. No, it's got to all line up.
I like it. I want to redirect this conversation over to Starley. And Starley, I know that Tom has been crucial in being your mentor and helping you with internet marketing. But what is some of the stuff that you've actually done specifically to help him put together this pitch? To be able to have both of these balls kind of balancing it at the same time, this idea of helping people internet marketing and crushing, but also this new passion of his of making sure people aren't getting scammed.
Hey, thanks, AJ. Well, I like to give the whole Jerry Maguire pitch on that, like help me kind of thing. Hey, am I up there? Can you see me okay?
Yeah, right now we're good, man.
Good. Well, one of the things, that I realized, working in publicity is it's great to be popular, but it's even better to be profitable, And so, hence, enters Tom Antion into my life as a mentor and an amazing resource and good friend. And I was actually very lucky that he was wanting to, add this additional brand, as a consumer advocate to his already massive success as an internet marketing guru and multimillionaire. So for me, I mean, wow, what a slam dunk. I mean, I could have done this, what my little part in my sleep. He made it so easy for me. And one of the things, that I was excited about, I like to say, hey, when you give a testimonial for someone or you're doing affiliate marketing, you're co-branding. Well, for me, since I did, 10 years of work with America's Most Wanted, and, one of my positions there was as a national television producer, a field producer, I'm now, getting to work with, one type of advocate and another type of advocate. I've got a consumer one and a crime one, and both of them near and dear to my heart, and out there catching the bad guys, keeping, protecting our loved ones. So for me, I felt like I wasn't even being as much of a lending a little bit of publicity objectivity to someone who's already really successful, but that I was a raving fan in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, but tell them what you made me do. Tell them what you made me do. Cause I went on to these into these interviews thinking, all right, I'm already a hot interview. I can add about the wazoo. I don't need any help. I can blow this TV show out crazy, and she wouldn't let me do it. So
Okay.
tell them what you
Don't make me look mean. Some people want to hire me here. Okay. So yeah. Well, so Tom definitely has his own system that works, and of course when he's going into some of my niche areas where I know people and I happen to be privy to some of the things that they like and some of the circles that I work in, especially if you're doing a lot of morning shows, like Tom when he does a evening news type interview, that's hot news, it's interview style. But for a lot of your like actually all four of us here, but for a lot of your audience right now, they're trying to be getting on morning shows and weekend shows, and these are where a lot of your industry experts, your speakers, and your authors are going to give tips, and they're going to be educational and entertaining. Well, in this particular format, they like props, and so the word props and Starley's nagging Tom is like synonymous on our fun little ventures out when he's on the circuit and doing his appearances, because we like props, and so the morning show does, and I like it for new people because it gives them something to concentrate on while they're, talking to a camera if they're not that, used to it. Tom's done over 3,000 speaking appearances. I've been on television for over 17 years, so there's a comfort zone there. But the props are just because they want them. And then there's also things like, how you guys have your lower thirds there with your super cool, your super fly, maybe that's your banner there. Well, they like background. Like I put up a prop background. It's one of our sponsor walls. So you got background, and you also have JPEGs. And you're all looking behind you.
Well, I just noticed my fiance cleaned my office the other day and moved my game time hashtag sign. It's up above me. You guys can't see it right now.
Magic of editing. It'll probably appear right after this sentence.
Let's see what my background is. You see this depressing background of mine?
Well, it looks like a really nice staircase, actually, Tom.
Yeah. Say that, but I wanted a spiral staircase my entire life, right? I get one, and I'm too fat to use it. Like you can't hardly get up and down the thing. It just sits there and looks good. Anyway, she beat me up. I had to go to Home Depot and get props, and she bought an ambulance to make a noisemaker, but guess what? She was right. She knew that host loved that stuff, and I was going in there like, listen, they should adapt to me. I'm a big shot, and yeah, she's like, yeah, and she was absolutely right. So I bowed down to her. So, and they invited me back 2 or 3 times, and anytime I'm in that city, I'm welcome. So she was absolutely right.
That's awesome. And Starley, you have a prop with you right now that you wanted to show the audience, didn't you?
No. If I don't, Tom will out me.
She is a Hello Kitty freak.
I'm doing the interview like this. So Tom outed me, and it's been seen on TV since then. Thanks, Tom.
You know what sucks, Starley, is like I knew this was going to be trouble being on here with you because when I'm talking, they're still showing your picture because who wants to look at me when they can look at you?
No, actually, you know what, Tom? It's a Google Hangout thing. All the audience is actually AJ's controlling. Every time you hear a little click, the camera's changing. But if you click on one, then it will just show you Starley the whole time. So yeah. I'm choosing to look at Starley as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you click over to Tom, he's been doing like this stuff to me. Like,
Well, everyone can see all of us as well, so it's all good. But
in my easy chair with my feet up like I do every day, making money on the internet. And I want
there you go.
To have that freedom.
Yeah, and since '94, by the way. I mean, Tom, I got to give you credit, man. I graduated high school in '94. I'm just saying. Just saying.
The beginning of the commercial internet was right around 1990.
I think '94 was the first time I got on the internet at the University of Michigan. We had snail mail, and I think that was the first time. I don't think I ever went on the internet in high school, actually. Yeah.
Well, see, I was recruiting guys like you because I tell everybody I do a whole session on recruiting young. I call them geeks or propeller heads. Because us old farts, I mean, you know, this phone right here, I'm known as the king of ka-ching because my email goes ka-ching when an order comes in. I want a thing on my cell phone. But I thought, you know what? It'll take me all day to try to figure that out. And so I handed it to somebody in the office, a young person. They came back. 10 minutes later, it goes ka-ching. Do I know how to get it? No. Do I care? No. Does it go ka-ching? Yes.
Yes.
So everybody out there needs help. It's too. These young people, they're swiping the screens. Toddlers are swiping the screen of the TV. You know. Now.
We used to ring a bell in the corporate world. But hey, Starley, I got a question for you because this is I love how you guys came together too. I didn't know that story, so that's pretty cool. You know, Mike had a question in the thing, and I think in the chat, and he said, you know, basically, and Mike, if you haven't watched Starley's video, I'd really encourage you to go watch it because this question gets answered in there. But for Mike, can you tell them, you know, how do you just get your foot in the door? You know, how do you just, what's the first thing you want to do if you want to try to, you know, get on, you know, TV in any way?
Okay, well, mindset of pay it forward in relationship marketing and researching who it is that you want to have help you or give you a hand. What I find a lot in television is that people want help, and most of the time they don't even find out your name, what your department title is, what you do, how you can help them help you. You don't know anything about the show, the audience, but you want to get on TV. So I just named off some things that you can do, and those are the exact same things that they get frustrated about, that those efforts aren't made. But I know what happens is people get excited and they look past those things. They don't think anything of it. They just think, I want to get on TV. But, you know, if you wanted to get invited to somebody's party, you know, you generally would go, oh, I wonder who's having the party. Maybe a friend of mine's going to be there. Maybe I could bring some milk, you know. You know, so you know, how can you contribute? So how can you research? How can you pay it forward? And so that's where you've got, you know, there's free training all over online. There's, you know, stuff like experts like me have. But, you know, literally just get on your internet and check out the TV station you want to get on and look and research them first. And then what about, I said, relationship marketing? You know, maybe you can even follow them on social media and contribute. It goes back to this whole paying it forward and relationship marketing. So that's some of the easiest way and most effective way to get in. I have all these other formulas and how to do it and pitch and templates, and I have all of that. But without the first part that I just told you, you know, it kind of gets you on once, maybe, and maybe not get asked back, because it really is about earning the respect and building relationships.
And serving their audience, it sounds like, as well. And so, you know, I love that. Tom, when you know, got started on the internet and then ultimately started doing all these speaking engagements, you know, and were you know, pretty much the king out there with internet marketing, online marketing, what were some of the things that you did early on specifically to get yourself some more media coverage? Well,
actually, before the internet came along, I built my whole speaking business with what I called media marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They're on TV, on the radio, or in a print publication somewhere. So I have both offline and online experience. And if you can mix both of those, you can rule the world now, because there is nothing like a personal appearance where people fall in love with you. Those are some of my best subscribers. I had at one point 150,000 subscribers. About 100,000 now, but the best ones are the ones that have seen me in person by far, because it makes a connection that you can't get in any other fashion.
Right.
You have to have enormous numbers on the internet to get people to trust you enough and stick with you to buy stuff, but you show up at a speaking engagement, they see you on TV, that transcends because you are being seen, and that massive credibility goes along with it. But if you can mix offline and online, you can rule the world.
Nice.
Awesome.
And so, Tom, what do you think is like the best ways to rule both of those worlds? Like, you know, those that they're getting on media, how do they leverage internet marketing to really rule both worlds?
Well, the players, everybody at my level and above, there's plenty of people higher than me, make their money with email. All this social media, all this YouTube, all of it is designed, in my mind, and most of the people like me, to get them the heck off of there onto an email list. Today, we still make our most of the money with email. And yeah, I make advertising, bucks off of this and that and the other, but the big money comes from email. So that's the point, is if you do a TV appearance, get a copy of it, play the heck out of it, and get them on an email list. Now, TV is a little harder to get them to mention your stuff, your email list or your freebies, but the credibility that goes along with being on TV is just massive. Starley does a segment in her speeches about, you know, you can picture and think of the top TV people. You can picture them in your mind. But some of the top radio people, you don't have a clue what they even look like. Some of the top writers in the world, you wouldn't notice them if you tripped over them. But TV takes you to a whole level you can't believe. But you got to get them on an email list. That's the whole point.
So what I'm hearing you say, and just kind of clarifying for those listening, is that having a really solid lead magnet or an opt-in offer is like probably the biggest thing if somebody's going to start and get in the game and really dominate the game, whether they go on TV or they're just going to stay online. Their opt-in offer is like the biggest thing for them to focus on, yes?
It's cliche, but your list is gold. I mean, they've been saying that for 100 years now, and that's absolutely true. The reason I'm sitting pretty today is because I can come up with an offer of my own or an affiliate offer, hit a button, 100,000 people hear about it, and money comes in. Ka-ching. So that's the ways of the world at this point.
I like it. And what are some of your favorite ways when you're teaching your mentees? What are your favorite ways to help them build that email list? You know, both traditionally via media, TV and radio, but also non-traditionally.
Well, non-traditionally speaking engagements where I have them do a drawing in the middle of the engagement, not in the beginning where they don't know you yet. In the middle, they do a business card drawing and give away something, so that promotes their products, but then they get probably, if they're any good at speaking, 98% of the people get in their database. Where if you just ask them to go visit your site when they get home, you get a couple people, right? So that's a way to get the best quality subscribers is do a drawing offline.
Yeah, I like this tactic. Real fast, sorry to cut you off, but I have a quick question because I remember experimenting with this as a musician, and Tom, you don't know this because we haven't spent a lot of time together, but I toured for 10 years professionally in a rock band. And when I started learning about internet marketing and the whole text message, you know, the text to opt-in thing came out, and I was using Instant Customer to do this. And we were on stage, we're performing, we had the whole entire crowd like going crazy. Everybody was headbanging with us, jumping around, having a great time. And I had prepped the lead singer right before we went on stage to pull out his phone in the middle of our set and say, hey, who wants the next song? And put your phone in the air. Everybody did. And we said, cool, well, text your name and your email to this number to get the next song we're about to play for free. And boom, we captured almost the entire database in the room. And all the other artists who were sitting there with old school with the little paper, like you send people to the merch booth, nobody signed up for their stupid little thing, right? So my question is, how do you feel about mobile to do that? If you're as a speaker, how do you feel about mobile to text opt-in rather than just send them to a URL?
Okay, so yes, I have tried this, and it's not quite up to speed in this arena as it would be in a rock band group of people. And I wonder how long was your hair when you did that?
It was, yeah, I'm gonna have to stand up a little bit, but it was this long. And I had copper highlights and blonde highlights, and it swooped, and I'd have to blow dry it and straighten it. It was awesome.
My God. Yeah, so I actually did it for a while, and the first thing is it's not as cheap to do text marketing as it is email. A lot of times they charge you per 10 cents or something per text, and it hasn't been as well accepted in the older age groups that have lots of money to spend. So we tried it and we backed off because it didn't work as well in this arena for the older crowd. Now, a younger crowd, I'm not discouraging it at all. I would do it, but I still wouldn't give up the offline stuff if you have a mixed audience.
Huge.
Not everybody. Most of the people in some of these crowds, I've watched them, but they're like, I don't know, how do we text something to this, and then it's a big mess.
Yeah, Now that's a good point, man. Like so what I hear you saying is, for those listening, the takeaway is, know your audience. If they're not tech savvy, don't make them do tech stuff. Like, do like you said, the business card drawing, something simple. And that's maybe the best way. So that's a really good takeaway. The other thing I want to shift gears here is about YouTube marketing. And I want to kind of get into Starley on how to best kind of represent our brand on YouTube. But before we get into that, since we're kind of on this train of traffic and building our email list, I watched a video of you today, Tom, talking about the opportunity with the in-stream ads on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about them? Good opportunity or just kind of not so good?
One of the best ever, because if you learn to play your cards right, you can have enormous numbers of views for a very small price. And when I say play your cards right, a lot of people don't know when the ads that we're talking about are the ones that you can hit a skip button. Now, if somebody hits that skip button before 30 seconds, it's free. Your picture, whatever you put up there, is free. And so what we do is we structure the ads to go for our click at about 20 seconds. And so it's a very boom, boom, boom. Get it done, get them to click. Or if they don't click, if they decide, I'm not clicking, they're going to leave before 30 seconds and the whole thing was free.
Yep.
So this appears to be a loophole, but see, there's so much inventory on YouTube, they're begging for people to advertise more. So they're giving you all these opportunities. So it's one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
I like it. And then shifting gears here to Starley on YouTube, when Tom's talking about these in-stream ads, how would we want to position our brand in this very short 20-second clip? That's kind of a curveball for you. You weren't expecting that one.
Boom.
Very quickly. I do live TV, so that's okay. Very quickly. Well, first of all, most people with their thumbnails or the very first way they start, that's the impression that everybody's expecting. I mean, how many times have you scanned over thumbnails and went, nah, okay. So first of all, that very first impression. And secondly, when you look down, and how many times have you looked at the seconds on there? So you don't even want to get into the ad, or you're not even into the brand yet because you're like, nah, that's 7 minutes. I don't think so. That's too much of a commitment. And so once you get past that, then you have to say, am I in line with my brands? Like, what if I couldn't even talk about, I put up my sponsor backdrop behind me because, well, one, all I had to do was show up and put on my jogging suit that I live in all the time, and then put up one of my banner backdrop walls. So it looks like I was...
Open a little more, please. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad.
I'm seeing now.
By the way, I just want to go on record that earlier Tom said if you play your cards right. I just want to go on record that I have a feeling that I don't ever want to be caught in a room playing cards with Tom. I think that cha-ching sound is going to be going off quite a bit if he and I are playing cards together.
We're layers, Andy. We're layers.
So
you got to hit it hard and fast to get that 20-second mark, and then hopefully if they don't click, they leave right away, and you don't pay. So that's the method with the in-stream.
Yeah,
awesome.
You can see where I pick up what I learned from Tom about his side and about my side and how they combine. And like I said, it's great being popular, but it's even better being profitable. And so to be able to combine the offline and online world is absolutely amazing. I mean, it took me a long time to figure out how to make a whole bunch of break-even money on television before learning how to earn even a little bit of profit on TV. And the bigger profits came from two areas for me, for sponsors, and they came hugely from Tom with the internet marketing. So when people tell me I can't wait to get on television, they think they're going to make $1 million. And right there, one appearance, and it's like that's not how it works. And where you guys were mentioning a little bit, or you were kind of just starting to talk about how you could refurbish it and reuse the footage, play it forever online. Actually, Tom, you were saying that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all the different ways you utilize your television and through the internet, really, because there's only so much you can do while you're on television unless you're doing a big pay-for-play, huge, back-end campaign-supported situation, and that's not It's not the way to go for most people.
Yeah, and see, I'm a firm believer, and I know people that do this. All of the money can be made online. When you go offline, that accelerates your online. So doing the TV, and she mentioned pay-per-play. Did you talk about that the other day, Star?
A little bit. Pay-per-play I like basically for folks who they don't have as long of a window for pitching, or maybe they're not as excited about it, and they need to get a press kit put together in a really short period of time. But you've got to be really careful about this, because you have a lot of third-party sources that will really take you in terms of their fees, and may not be very publicity savvy. But if you're going to do that, I would go through a massively respectable source, and I know ways of how you qualify them, or go direct to the TV station themselves, and they'll most of the time coddle you, and you actually buy that airtime, and it's usually on an entertainment talk show. And then if you pitch and you don't do pay-per-play, if you're going on broadcast media on the news, then you have to make sure your content is newsworthy and that it is timely, and very often it's more like those educational, entertaining tips with the props. You're really serving their audience. But one, it's free, and two, you are, no doubt newsworthy at this point, and it's a great check and balance. So there's a time.
Let me ask Star something. But you're not calling. Star has a service where you can do a whole half-hour show about yourself, almost like an infomercial.
Right.
You're not calling that pay. I was considering that pay-for-play too, where you can go in. I have 3 or 4 of these where it looks like a show, but I gave her all the questions, and I'm being interviewed by her, and all that. And to me, that's pay-per-play. And then you can play that not only on your website, you can play it on leased access television, which is a government-mandated cheaper rate. Big hassle to do, but you can get the rates down. And that's, again, driving traffic to my online sources where I can control where they go from that TV show.
Yeah, and as you know, that's kind of like the paying for the production, and then you can get the play for free, or somebody can actually buy the spot, if they want to. But yeah, the lingo can get confusing for a lot of people, and there's so many good opportunities, and that's why you want to go to like AJ, Andy, Tom, myself, because that way we can point people in the right direction for what's right for them.
Awesome. So I have a quick question for you guys from Ling Su here in the chat. She's a coach, and she says, how can I learn? What is her question? How can I learn? Okay, so how do I market my coaching business fast and effectively? So we'll start with Tom. Tom, what would be your advice on what is the best way to market a coaching business fast and effectively?
Well, you really have to learn all the outlets to get your name around. And when I was coming up through the ranks, when I used to do corporate speaking, which I don't do anymore, but if a meeting planner would call me, she would, mostly she's, would say, well, I haven't heard of you. But I'd say, well, just go to the internet, type my name in, and pack a lunch, because you're going to be there for a while. Because I had strategically placed and worked the internet to have my name show up everywhere. Now, I'm not talking about, like, I caught this one guy saying I'm not a scammer. He, like, flooded the internet with I'm not a scammer because he was a scammer. I'm just saying, you flood the internet, you learn how, it's Ling Su?
Yep.
You learn how to flood the internet with positive, your name out there, your content out there. We call this syndication. So, for instance, let's say you had a blog posting. Well, that could turn into an audio file for a podcast directory that your name's going to show up on. It could turn into a screen capture video that you're going to put somewhere. It could turn into a slide share for slideshare.com where your name's going to show up. So when somebody looks you up, Ling Su, is it Ling Su or?
Yeah, you're right. Ling Su. Ling Su.
Ling Su. First name or her whole name?
Her first name is Ling.
Ling. Okay. So when somebody goes to check you out, you're everywhere, and they don't even look. I mean, you might be there thousands of times where they say, "Oh my God, this woman is great. Look, she's everywhere." and that lets your fees become higher, and it's less sales resistant, see? So that's what I would do, is learn how to syndicate yourself so positive stuff about you is everywhere, so that people, when they see your name, they're like, my God, she's everywhere.
Yeah, Tom, I want to interject there because her follow-up question right after that question was, how can I charge higher prices?
Yeah, well, that's it.
So,
Better.
I mean, yeah, I within a year of, I went from, literally out of nowhere off to complete offline to then online with the podcast. I launched a podcast. I don't necessarily suggest that being the best way to do it, but you can launch a podcast, helps with branding. But then I went on it. I syndicated myself all over the internet on getting on other people's podcasts. And if you go Google my name now, I take up the first 4 or 5 pages of Google. Whereas, 2 years ago, you would have seen like a picture of me at a bowling alley with my company in Boston or something, in the court. It was weird. Couldn't even find me. So, to recap that for you, Ling, it's get out there and syndicate yourself. Get as much positive exposure as possible. Get on other people's, go to where your target market is, your audience is. Get on podcasts, get interviewed, get your name out there as best you can, and be very, very consistent with that. And once you are branded and once people know of you, which doesn't take a long time if you're very aggressive with the strategy, then obviously you can start to charge higher rates as well. So,
yeah, I have a sign at my school that says the only way to exceed the average fees in your industry is to become better known. Simple as that.
Love it. Starley.
Yeah, I was going to see what Starley had on this. What was her take from her view?
Oh, was I supposed to be listening? No, I'm just kidding. No, all that's amazing and true. Hey, Tom can't be the only funny one. All right. So,
where's the Hello Kitty?
All right, I'm going to tell you. Ready? Here's my tips on this. Sorry. So first of all, I agree with Tom about the publicity and making sure that you have a. I can't do it with the kitty. But you got to, when you're more recognized, of course, it's easier. But are you recognized for better? So the social proof is helpful. You don't want to be more recognized for the person who doesn't come through. So continually making sure that you've got that social proof out there in your content and it's working, and your success stories. That's another thing that's really helpful. And one of the things in my very grateful, humble, feeling about all this is like. We all are helped by standing on the shoulders of other giants in the business, and people who are here before us and the pioneers. And, Tom's been one of those people to help me. I've been really, really lucky. People like Tom and John Walsh and several other, high-profile celebrities and people that are top of their game, they put their neck out there when they're recommending you. And so that is part of how you build, your brand and your social proof, so to speak, is someone who's reputation-wise where you're coming through. And, and that's why I warn people, too. Like, when you're giving testimonials for other people, don't be like NASCAR and just give a testimonial to everyone just because you're excited about being on video. Give yourself a testimonial, but keep in mind that you're kind of co-branding a little bit. And for me, it's a huge compliment when someone gives me a testimonial because they're putting their neck out there. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so that's my answer to that, and a thank you to Tom and to everybody who's stood behind me and given me, that boost up.
Yeah, and get on TV, and then write a book, but don't write a crap book like everybody's promoting nowadays. It would be better, placemats at your dinner table. They're so pitifully little, and so write something you can be proud of. And it like I wrote the book Click, The Ultimate Guide to Electronic Marketing for Speakers. It's 1,042 pages. All right, it's like an encyclopedia. It dominated the industry for 10 years till I got to the point where it was too big to edit because things would go obsolete while I'm trying to edit it. But the thing is, get something out there you can be really proud of in the form of a book. Get on TV, because on TV the credibility is the highest ever when you're on TV. And then back it up with all your online stuff, and you'll be charging a lot of money, and I'll come after you for commission.
I like it. This leads me to my next question, Tom, because I know you're doing this whole TV show on the Scam Brigade and all of these cool things. And so for those people who hear what you're saying, they could say, okay, well, I'm going to go work with so-and-so, and they're going to help me be on CNN. They're going to help me be on ESPN or ABC, meaning they're going to send out a press release and be featured on the website. And then since they're featured on the website, they're going to be able to pull the logos, right? And then they're going to charge a higher price point because they have branding and positioning and they're found everywhere. But yet, when they're working with people, they don't get the results that the high prices dictate, right? So what's your take? Like, what's the balance of this game between, all right, I'm going to be everywhere, I'm going to be backed by the media, and therefore I can be positioned to charge higher prices, but yet, you know, how do we play that game to say, okay, well, I am worthy to charge this higher price point? Like, what is your take on that?
Right. Well, yes. So a lot of the people that I go after, they spend their entire time making themselves appear to be great, but they spend zero time on being great, right? And so that comes back and bites you because they got lawsuits against them, their credit card, they got so many chargebacks, they're always trying to get a new credit card company. And there's no integrity in that, not that they care, because many of them are sociopaths and just want to groom you and take your money. So you've got to balance making, you know, doing your proper work on yourself and your own publicity and getting the word out there, but coming from the place that I want them to be with me because I won't cheat them. I will give them good service rather than I just want them to be with me because I want the money.
Yeah.
I mean, this past event, I had 30 new students from this event. That's about 150,000 on the front end revenue and maybe $500,000 on the back end from them. And I let a lot of them in very inexpensively because I knew they're clueless and they're gonna go out and get robbed blind. So I would rather take on the burden of helping them. You know, I can afford to do it, you know, but I just can't stand to see them get robbed and then they're out there crying and hurt really bad. So you got to balance being great with looking great. That's the bottom line.
Awesome. I like it. So what I hear you saying, it's all about integrity. Like, a person needs to have integrity and be willing to do the right thing and not just do it because you want to take some money, but you really want to help them. I mean, that's what I think you do, Tom. Starley, I know you do as well, that you guys are both want to genuinely help people, love on people, and get them results. So
that's why we like each other, because we're very in line with that. And, you know, I don't mind if she beats me up once in a while. You could have worse.
Well, you know what's? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Starley.
Kitty from? I stole it from Tom.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, Tom, I appreciate you saying that too, because, you know, one of the things that AJ and I, one of the things that we, you know, market, if you will, or a message, if you will, is the fact that he and I, you know, we have been the victims of, whether they're intentional or unintentional scams, but, you know, a lot of people that have overpromised and underdelivered for us along the way in our journey. And so one of the things we care about a lot is trying to help people, you know, not just really shortcut the process, but to know that there aren't necessarily shortcuts, and that this is, you know, jumping online, you know, like, I think, you know, you talked to us, you know, and said that, hey, you know, it took some time before you got it all right, you know, and got it really, you know, the machine oiled and working. And look at you now. I mean, you know, it's amazing what you built. But we like to, you know, message that to people that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that will just take your money and they won't, you know, be integral with it. And you know, ultimately that it takes a lot of work, you know, and that there's certain people out there that care about, you know, your results, and there's certain people that don't. And so, you know, that's a message of our business.
Some of them aren't even doing it on purpose. They're younger and they grew up seeing and thinking this is the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to just get as much money with the least amount of work as possible. You know,
right?
They didn't really plan on robbing you. They just think this is how it works, and that's just not, I'm old school. You know, I'm older than dirt. You know, so So
It should be about the results, right? It should be about the results. Well, hey, you know, speaking of, you guys talked about a couple of things, so I wanted to hit on a couple of questions. One, from a testimonial standpoint, I think you guys would both be very happy to know that Mr. Roberto Candelaria is actually in the chat. So if you want to say a shout out, go for it.
yeah, a big celebrity like him stopping by to listen to us little bumpkin like me.
Well, what he said about you, Tom, he said, Andy, love the man, Tom. Wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it weren't for Tom. Taught me about actually monetizing the message online through webinars, and I love the guy. So, and of course, I love the one and only Starry Murray even more. No, he said also. He said also.
Guess who actually gave me this one?
Yeah.
Roberto. Roberto gave me this in Vegas, I think it was, at one of the events. So thank you, Roberto.
Speaking of him, he's one of the top sponsorship crowdfunding experts in the country, and this is one of the greatest things that's come on in the world for small business people. And even if you're not even in business, you can crowdfund stuff, and if you take the time to learn how to do it, you can get enormous amounts of money that you don't have to pay back to fund your dreams. And it sounds like hocus pocus, but it's swept the world, and a lot of good is being done with crowdfunding.
Yeah, he's crowdfunding, and I mean Roberto too, and everyone that's out there. If you haven't seen Roberto's video yet or interview yet, you know it's amazing. I mean, it's all about sponsorships. Basically, the tweetable from Roberto's interview is, you know, you can get someone to sponsor anything. So I love it. And so just so you guys all know that, you know, Roberto, Starley, and Tom, I mean, they're all very tight, and they've all helped each other. I mean, and Tom, I know, has helped both you, Roberto, and Starley out quite a bit. So let me ask you this. I guess we'll start with Starley, but Mike had a question about, you know, he's about to be ready to launch a book, and he wanted to know, and I know what the answer is, but I'd rather have you answer it, Starley.
What do you mean?
Should he shoot a video to help his book launch?
No, he should put his book in a drawer, and yes, of course, yes. Shooting a video for your book launch would be awesome. Wait, Tom wants to weigh in. What was that?
I said more than one, because you're going to split test them, because you don't know which one's going to resonate with people. You're too close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually asked, should I shoot an interview? So I mean, maybe you can elaborate on both those concepts: video interview, those things. Split testing, love it.
Right. Go ahead, Tom.
No, he needs multiple videos, so tell him how to do it.
No. What Tom's saying is like, no, it's totally true. That's where I even learned that from. And I will say that the value of the interview is, if he's trying to get on television, you have to realize they're trying to. It's monkey see, monkey do. They want to see that you can do something that they're going to have you come duplicate. So if you're trying to get on a TV show and you see that it's a table and two people sitting at it, go ahead and duplicate that look. Don't act like it's a TV station if it's not. I mean, let them know, like, hey, I'm hanging out in the virtual studios of this or that, or we're outside at this amazing golf course, or wherever it is you are, and then duplicate a 3-minute TV segment and study the show and see what it's like. So one, that they see that you can hold airtime, and two, the book. It's way better. This is just a little tip, but it's kind of a big deal. We talked about this in my interview when we were doing it from the television station. Remember, guys, like, it's better if someone else is holding your. Oops, here, what's the book I got? It's better if somebody else holds your book up.
That guy is a genius. That guy.
It's way better if someone else holds your book up than if you're holding your own, your thing, because it's less Vanna and it's less pushy. And then people say, well, how do you get them to hold the book? Like it's a big trick. It's, again, this is all about just doing the right thing. And if you're not a just add water expert, if you're somebody who's honed your craft, if you've mastered your craft, then this is the publicity you really deserve. And just give your book to the people that you want to have interview you, and let them read it beforehand. You know what? If you have confidence in what's in your book, I mean, let's invite them into what you've got in here. They would be the best interviewer that you've ever had. But if it's like an actor thing, it's going to look fake. And people forgive flaws, but they don't forgive fakes. And that's why what we're doing here is so fun. We're kind of spinning off each other and being a little silly. And I outed Tom that this was really his. And So it's all good. You know?
Awesome.
Well,
I
now you're gonna have to shoot hundreds of videos. So you really need to get a place where you can set up and knock out, because you're going to use traffic driving videos on YouTube. They're going to all be based on keywords. Don't shoot videos that aren't based on keywords, because the crickets will be chirping. Nobody will see them. and 2 minutes or less, because now the holy grail is not views. It's percentage of watch time.
Mm.
Listen to that. It's percentage of watch time. So if you have a 2-minute video and somebody listens to 1 minute, that's 50% watch time. If they had a 4-minute video and they listen to 1 minute, that's only 25% watch time. So the 2-minute video appears to be a better video because people watched it longer. So there's a lot of details on YouTube rather than just shooting a video and throwing it up there and crossing your fingers, and you need to learn YouTube marketing. The newest thing is YouTube cards. This is the newest thing from annotations, because annotations, those little boxes you put up there, don't show up on mobile.
Mm.
And April 21st is the deadline from Google. You're going to drop like a rock in the ratings if your sites aren't mobile friendly. So with YouTube, YouTube Cards allows you to put a bunch of information that's mobile friendly. So a lot to learn about YouTube.
Awesome. YouTube Cards. And by the way, Tom, Robin is on, and Robin's one of our assistants, and she's been phenomenal with working with all the people in the chat, as well as as well as our community that we built as part of this summit. So Robin, you're out there. We love you. We got some tweetables that I got from you, Tom. I think we're gonna create some images for you and put them out there on Twitter if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I love the one that don't shoot videos without keywords, otherwise it's crickets. And then the other one was when you go offline, that accelerates your online, and that's been a big theme actually throughout the entire summit. So I appreciate you saying that stuff.
How about the don't just look great, be great?
I love it. Don't just look great. All right, we got some tweetables. I love it. We have some images out there. Don't just look great, be great.
About that, don't be popular, don't just be popular, be profitable.
There you go.
Don't just be Yeah, I think we actually have that one for you already, Starley, but we'll get that rolling. Don't just be popular, be profitable. Love it.
I like that one because you guys, we come from right now we have so many experts with this massive amount of marketing support on how to be the best expert in their field, and I lovingly say it as, sometimes we're a little bit like just add water experts because we do it so quickly, but it's really important that we master our craft. I mean, I remember growing up and hearing, you can be anything you want in this world as long as you work hard. And then later I heard, you can be anything you want as long as you work smart. And then now I just hear, you can be anything you want.
Exactly. Whenever and tomorrow.
One of my favorite rap artists is Macklemore, and he has this song called 10,000 Hours. And one of the lines in there is, the greats weren't great because they could paint. The greats are great because they paint a lot. So it goes into this, if you want to be great at something, you have to do it a whole lot. So I like that. Real fast here, because we're kind of coming up on our time. There's one question from Ling. Andy, I don't know the exact question, but it was on AdWords.
Yes,
okay, cool.
Thank you. I'm sitting here because I'm chomping at the bit to take care of Ling, because Ling actually, and just a little FYI, Ling did a little tactic that many of you may not know of, but she Facebook messaged me direct with the question that she asked in the group that hasn't been answered yet, and said, hey, can you help me get this answer? And I said, well, I think I know a guy that might know the answer. So Tom, Ling asked me a question via Facebook. She said, hey, would you please share your experiences of Google AdWords, pros and cons? What would you recommend instead of Google AdWords, if you would recommend anything else? And for those that have not used Google AdWords, why wouldn't you use Google AdWords?
Okay, great. For many years, I spent between $5,000 and $8,000 a month on AdWords and made a big return on investment. And then Google got more arrogant, more complicated, and finally I just said, you know what, this is too much work to give you all this money. And then the costs went out of sight, so the ROI wasn't as good. So I quit Google AdWords up until recently, because these in-stream ads are technically Google video ads, so they are Google AdWords, but the video version of it. So they are great, and they are cost effective, and yes, you should learn that. But Facebook is so much better because you can target your neighbor if you wanted to, and they're easy to learn. You just have to make sure your landing pages pass muster, which isn't too hard to do. And they're giving you a relevance score. If you make sure your ad matches your landing page perfectly, your clicks are cheaper. So Facebook ads is what we've turned to. Now, Pinterest is something we've turned to, that they're coming out with ads, and Twitter ads. But keep in mind, all of that is only probably less than 10% of the ad space available on the internet. So you can go to places like AdBright. It's a self-service ad place where you can put pay-per-click in, and very simple to do. Outbrain is a place that I use where my content is syndicated on Huffington Post and Wall Street Journal and CNN. So I would explore these other places before you just dig in and fight it out with AdWords day and night, just to figure it out, and then they'll change it tomorrow.
Awesome. And this brings us to a really good transition point to kind of wrap this thing up. And Andy, I'm going to throw this back to you, because Tom talked about all of these different avenues of advertising. And for those that are on today, Andy's going to give you guys a website where Tom could, help you figure all of this out. So Andy, I'm going to throw this back to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I mean, go check this out, because this has been, if not the longest, I think it's the longest standing online program out there. And Tom's been doing this, obviously, he knows his stuff. So go to greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and go check out Tom's program. It's phenomenal stuff. And Starley has benefited from Tom's work. Roberto has benefited from Tom's work. They're on the summit. Obviously, Tom's work works, and I don't know if we'll use that as a tweetable for you, Tom. But no, it's a really good training, and it's great. internetmarketingtraining.com, so go check it out. And we did have another question too, AJ, and Cheryl Ann wanted to know, for you, Starley, how can I get Starley to hold my ebook up for me? So what I would say, Cheryl Ann, is you have an opportunity to reach out to Starley. I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to commit Starley to anything, but if you ever do have an opportunity to have Starley interview you or be part of one of her events, or get in touch with her, then maybe getting your ebook into the hands of Starley would be a good start.
How do you hold up an ebook anyway? Here, I'm holding it up right now.
Yeah.
It's on Kindle. I'm sorry, it's a Kindle. It's on Kindle. So
books on television with the representation of props. But yeah, no, thanks so much for that, Andy. And of course, people who are going to hold up your ebook or your information product, your CD, your DVD, your book, whatever it is, they hold it up because they're fans. So make them fans by getting them exposed and excited to your content. So I'm saying it not just for me, but people ask me all the time, like, how did I get celebrities, endorse my things when it wasn't an official sponsorship? And people hold up the things that they're fans of. I mean, it's amazing. How many times did I hold up Hello Kitty and, Tom's book? I mean, people like to promote and brag on the things that they're proud of, that give them joy, made them some money, had some benefit in their life. So what can you do to help somebody else with your ebook? First, they'll probably hold it up without you asking.
I got another tweetable. Don't hold Hello Kitty in front of your face when you have the most beautiful face on TV. Points.
I know, I was gonna say, where's that? Can you make your phone automatically do the ching?
No,
ching?
you gotta call it.
I'm going to be out there working on Tom Antion's video room. But like, I need to add another layer, Tom. We're going to put a third layer up on your house here because, oh yeah, the flattery goes a long way in the business here. And again, I just wanted to say, really, I met you guys through Tom, whether you realize it or not. So,
extra questions backed up because I am the most accessible guy on earth. So if they want to email me any questions that didn't get answered, email is orders@antion.com. Orders@antion.com.
All right, AJ, put that into the chat real quick. Orders, and we got your other link in the chat as well. Orders@antion.com. Wow, thank you.
I got you, brother.
Give me a little time to get your answer to you.
Awesome. So guys, take Tom up on, if you guys have questions, he's a super smart guy. Just shoot him an email, orders@antion.com. And we appreciate all of you guys being on today. And if you guys have not picked up the All Access Pass for the summit, then head on over to the movementmarketingsummit.com/order. Check it out. You're going to be having access to more bonus trainings like this with the lead entrepreneurs. Plus, we have the exclusive Facebook group where people are getting live coaching from a lot of the people that are speaking on this event, plus Andy and I myself. Plus, there's going to be a lot of other opportunities, as you guys know, like the live mastermind that's going to be taking place in October. You're going to have a chance to win a spot. There's only 5 spots, but you have a chance to win that as well. So make sure if you haven't picked up the All Access Pass, pick it up before the price goes up on April 23rd. It's going to jump up to $297, so you can pick it up now from $97. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. So we appreciate you guys being on today, and we hope you guys have a rocking day. Talk soon. Peace.